Welcome to CITAM Church Online. This is Karita Mbagara, the Deputy Bishop of Christ is the Answer Ministries. Today, I want us to consider the grace of God as seen in the life of Jacob when he was running away from home. In the book of Genesis, chapter 28, verse 10, we read the following. Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. When he reached a certain place, he stopped for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones there, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth with its top reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and I give you and your descendants, I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south. All people on earth will be blessed through you and your offspring. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I promised you. This is a good example of how the grace of God works. Jacob has antagonized his brother. He has had to run away from home, and God is still at work in his life. And we see that Jacob, as he is running away, he gets to a certain place, which later we know was to be called Bethel. Before that it was called Luz, or L-U-Z, Luz. But he changed the name to Bethel. And in this place, as he sleeps at night, perhaps lonely, without too much confidence and not knowing what will happen, God visits him. He allows him to have a dream. And God has on many occasions used dreams to speak to his people. He spoke to Solomon in a dream. The nativity story about the birth of Jesus is full of dreams where messengers are coming to Joseph and even to Mary in dreams. But we also find in this instance, God gives Jacob a dream where he sees a stairway from earth to heaven. And my understanding of that stairway is that God is communicating that although you have sinned, although you have made a mistake, my grace still makes a way for you to reach me. I have a path for you to reach me. And more than that, there are angels that were ascending and descending. In other words, that there is a provision that will come your way. God is communicating to Jacob that there is help, divine help. This is consistent with what we find in the New Testament in the book of Hebrews chapter 1 verse 14 that says that angels are ministering spirits for those who are being saved. Beyond that, God speaks to him. He hears the voice of God, and God tells him that I will bless you. More or less the same blessing that God had pronounced in the life of Abraham from Genesis chapter 12 and repeated the same to Isaac is now being repeated to Jacob. And he's told, you're going to be blessed, your children are going to be blessed, and they are going to be many. And then in verse 15, he gives these instructions. He says, I am with you. God says, my presence is to remain with you, will stay with you. God's presence is what makes the difference in the life of anybody that believes in God. Secondly, he goes on to say, and I will watch over you. In other words, I am going to be your protection. he goes on to say, not only will I be with you and give my presence, it's not only that I will give you my protection, I will bring you back. I read that God is saying, I will preserve you. My grace will give you my presence. My grace will also ensure that you are preserved, you are protected. And he says, by bringing you back, he is also saying that I am going to make sure that you're provided for. So I see 4 P's. There is the presence of God. There is the protection of God. There is the provision of God. And there is the preservation of God. It reminds me of what it says in the book of Matthew chapter 28 verse 20. He says, Lo, this is Jesus when he is living. Lo, I am with you to the end of the world. My brothers and sisters, Jacob was undeserving of all this that is given to him at this particular instance. It is the grace of God, which John Newton called amazing grace. That amazing grace is still at work in our day. And God is giving us the assurance that he is going to give us his presence. He is going to be there for us. We can fellowship with him on a continuing basis. He is going to preserve us. We are not going to be destroyed. And he's also saying that he will make provisions for us and he will protect us. What more could we ask? And that grace is available for you and for me. I don't know what it is that you have done. I do not know what it is that you are experiencing. But if God could deal with Jacob and bless him as much and tell him of this, he is also saying the same to you. I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5 and 6 repeats the very same words, that God has said he will never leave you. He will never forsake you. All you have to do is to take those words of God and believe them. Let them drop from your head to your heart. Activate them. Believe them. Live by them. Claim them in your prayers. And you will see that the grace of God is very much in operation even this day. Thank you very much. If this is a blessing to you, please share with somebody else. And also, if you have not subscribed, I look forward to you subscribing, and then you will receive notification of all the other clips and messages that we are going to put out in the days lying ahead. Thank you very much.